Hello, everybody, and this is yet another session on media and society theories, which is a part of communication theories. And in the previous session, we were discussing the critical and cultural theories. And in this session, we are going to look at the media society theories, which will comprise of technological determinism theory, the media and the public sphere, audience theory, and feminist media theories. So while we are looking at the first theory of this, which is the technological determinism theory, as the name suggests, it talks about what all changes can be determined in a society due to technology. So the basic idea is technology shapes up social change. So far, we have been discussing on various occasions through development communication and all other various ways in mass media about how media can become a way of bringing about social change. So while we're talking about this, we know that technology shapes up kind of social change that exists in a society. When there is promulgation of technology, a very simple example could be food coming to your houses, being delivered at home, or groceries being delivered at home, milk being delivered at home. When we did not have these delivery mechanisms, things were different. The world was different. But with the coming of technology, we know we can make payments through the mobile, through technology. This is the time of plastic money. This is the time when whatever you want, all you have to do is open an app on your phone and the thing gets delivered to your place. So how technology has brought about a complete change. But of course, this is one very small segment, and here we are talking of the larger social change in terms of social values, in terms of social bearings, in terms of what society has or can become due to the effect or impact of technology. So this is also defining the media consumption of society. When we are talking about media consumption, we are talking in terms of all the things that you are not just consuming, but also posting, also producing. So mass production and the mass access and mass consumption. These are three parts of a triangle which together go in cohesence. Like, say, for example, on social media, when you come across a good video, which has already been shared multiple times, you share it too, and further too, it keeps getting shared. So, say, for example, any short video, you cannot really point out what will be the date when this short video has been uploaded. Why? Because it has been shared so many times, and it has been, the sharing has continued for over a period of time. And maybe even after you share, it will be shared many times more. So the production of it, or you cannot put a date to when this video was produced. So there is also, this is mass sharing, or we should say mass consumption. But when we talk about mass production, we know there are so many videos that people just make and then they post it on social media platforms, either to depict a certain kind of reality that exists in the society. One example could be citizen journalism, and also to depict something, anything good, anything that affects them positively or negatively. And that when they're posting in media. So media production by the masses and media consumption by the masses. One important aspect in between is the media access. And here is when we talk about digital divide. And this is when we talk about digital inequality. Why? Because when we say digital inequality, it is not just consuming what is already there in media. So if you're looking at a news channel and consuming news, you cannot be called digitally empowered. A digitally empowered citizen is one who also produces, who also interacts, who has that kind of access and the use of it. So media access is one huge thing. While we talk about media access and technological determinism, say for example in the post-COVID scenario, we saw that during the COVID times, a lot of people switched to online education. But we very well know that the reality of pandemic that hit us in 2020 was that 50% of the population were not digitally empowered. They were digitally haves not. They did not have the means to access, produce, or consume content digitally. So, this is the whole idea of why and how, when technology percolates in a society, what kind of an impact it can create, and how does it determine the course of change of a society. Having said that, technology determinism is of two kinds. One is hard determinism and one is soft determinism. When I say hard determinism, what I mean is that technology is independent of social concerns. So people who talk about hard determinism look at it as a neutral thing. Technology is a neutral thing and humans have less choice. The technology does not concern itself with the social concerns or social issues as such. It is a neutral thing, and humans do not have any choice but to take it up, but to make it a part of their lives. So that is hard determinism. On the contrary, soft determinism talks about how technology can be a guiding force in human evolution and not the only factor which brings about a change. So when technology starts playing that kind of an important role, where it empowers certain sections of the society, the subaltern, the underprivileged, women, whoever you talk about. So this is the kind of guiding force that technology can become. And it has, and it is not just a factor which exists in neutrality and vis-a-vis, we will have to study this. So this is called soft determinism. Having said that, the next theory we're going to talk about is media and public sphere. The public sphere, as we all understand, is the sphere where all kind of media content, all kind of social realities that are created, manipulated, doctored, are put there. And why are they put there? So that maximum number of people can view it, see it, consume it, read it, and be affected by it. So public sphere is this sphere which is open to all citizens. The participants do not represent a certain political class only. So when I say public sphere, it does not mean that this public sphere only belongs to a certain socioeconomic income of the society and not to the others. It is representing the political or business interests? No. It is representing people in general, the common man. The third characteristic is that there is no hierarchy. So if there is some content which is posted on YouTube, it doesn't mean that it will reach certain class of the society first and the other class of the society later. It is just that whoever is accessing will get access first. So there is no hierarchy and no demarcation in how you're going to make use of the content that is available in public sphere. Then the fourth and the more important characteristic of public sphere is that there is discussion on social issues. When we bring forth any kind of subject to be discussed, when we put it in public sphere, the idea is to generate a discussion, to create an opinion and help the people build an opinion. So this discussion on social issues is an important facet of public sphere. Other than that, we also look at the formulation of public opinion. When we say formulation of public opinion, how does public opinion get formed? How do I understand that a certain political party X is the one that I am going to favor as regards to another political party against whom I would stand? Who would my vote go to? How do I decide that? The formulation of public opinion. And how is this opinion getting formulated for me as an individual? Only by the selected texts and the everything that is all the media content which I am exposing myself to is helping me formulate my public opinion. Now, it can be the articles that I read in the magazine, the blogs that I read or come across. It could be the books that I read or the films that I see or the news that I look at, the newspapers that I read or the podcasts that I listen to, and all of it in totality will create a reality for me which will indicate to me what is correct and what is not correct. Accordingly, my opinion gets formed. So, public sphere is a controlling factor because whatever content of media is there in the public sphere will help you formulate your public opinion. And then, of course, there is citizen involvement in policy making. We see that when a new policy is about to come, when a new bill is about to be passed in the parliament, not only in the parliament, but also in the media, also in the public sphere, it gets discussed threadbare. How much plurality is, entertained when the final bill is passed or not is a separate matter altogether. But there is certainly citizen involvement in policy making. So when we look at the discussions and debates that talk about whether a bill should be passed and what are the relevant things that should be kept in mind while passing this law, there are experts who are talking in it about it. So this is how citizens participate in policy making. And public sphere is an important thing which helps in doing it. So this is about the theory of media and public sphere. The next we talk about audience theories. We know that the audiences are a very important part of media, and media would cease to exist if it has no audiences. The audience theories basically explore the relationship between the audiences and the media, or let me say media text. So we look at factors like, who are the audiences? Are we talking of a metropolitan youth? Are we talking of people who are connected to agriculture as the means of livelihood? Are we talking about housewives in general? Are we talking about the non-English speaking people? Who are we talking about? So that is important. When we look at audiences, it is important to understand that we analyze audiences on the basis of their demographics and their psychographics. So through demographics, we get to know what is the socioeconomic status of the person, what is the kind of education this person has had, the age, the gender, all those related things, the income, etc. And when we are looking at the psychographics, we are evaluating and demarcating the attitudes, the perceptions, the way people look at certain things. What is the value system that this audience has? So this is the two kind of study. When we talk about the audience study, these are the two aspects of audiences that we would like to know as media creators, because then we know who are the audiences who we are out to impress. Then the second thing is, how are they engaging? Are they really engaging with this media that we're talking about? Say, for example, the OTT, or say, for example, the newspapers or the podcasts. Are they engaging? How are they engaging? If I talk about the podcast, as an audience, am I giving my complete attention, rapt attention to the podcast that I'm listening to? Or is it only a secondary thing that while I am doing something else, I am also, listening to the podcast side by side? So is it getting my complete attention or no? So that is another factor which will decide upon the content that I'm going to design for such an audience which is not paying complete attention to what I'm saying. So how are they engaging? How are the audiences playing with it? What kind of use are the audiences putting this media content to is important to understand. The third thing that audience theories looks at is what messages are preferred. So if you see those short videos that automatically keep appearing on Facebook, you would see they would rather speak about humanity and kindness, or they would also speak about very gruesome act that happens arbitrarily in a city or in a town. So what sort of messages are being shared more, or are leading to certain kind of comments, certain kind of reactions from the audiences? Because interactivity has suddenly become very, very important when we talk of technology, when we talk of social media, when we talk of all those things through which businesses of any kind are getting affected through the audiences. We are talking of the message that these audiences would prefer. And hence, suddenly, the audience study has become very, very relevant, very, very important. Having said that, the audience theories also revolve around certain other set of theories like the hypodermic needle theory. Just to explain in short, hypodermic needle theory is the one which is for a long time which had become a dodo theory because it was not existent anymore. But this is the theory which said that audiences are passive and they cannot help reacting to the messages of the media the way media wants them to. So this is also known as the stimulus response theory, where it states that the media messages are like stimulus, and if any stimulus one comes across, one has to react. You cannot but react to that stimulus, which is your response. So it is also called stimulus response theory. It is also called hypodermic needle theory. It is also called magic bullet theory, whereby media messages are bullets, magic bullets, which get injected into the body of the audiences, and audiences are too passive to react to them. So this was one audience theory that came into the time of yore, but and later on it was dead because it was seen through media researches that media has lesser effect than this. So there are limited effect theories came. But again, with the coming of social media, and these days the way we see lynching and trolling on social media, just because somebody has posted certain kind of a picture or somebody has made certain kind of comment, hypodermic needle theory has arisen again from the phoenix. The next theory that we talk about in this context is the two-step flow and multi-step flow of information. Now, when I say two-step and multi-step, it is basically about opinion leaders and opinion followers. Opinion leaders are these people who are experts in a certain area or who are better informed than their opinion followers. It could be the sarpanch in a village. It could be me as a communication and media teacher, as compared to those people who are viewing this video to understand media and its nitty-gritties. So this is the two-step flow. When I get certain kind of information and I pass it down to my students or my followers, my viewers, that is the two-step flow of information. As related to this, multi-step flow would mean that for certain health concerns, someone else will be my opinion leader. So this becomes a network of opinion followers and opinion leader. My opinion follower can be my opinion leader on another area, maybe finances, maybe health, maybe real estate or anything else. So this is the multi-step flow of information, when information is coming from the source to the opinion leader, to some other opinion leader and opinion followers, and so on and so forth. So this is the two-step and multi-step flow of information. The next aspect talks about the reception theory, how media audiences receive what they receive. Now, we all understand, we have spoken about the selective processes in media whereby audiences choose certain kind of communication because they have certain kind of pre-existing values and beliefs. And based on that, they will accept or reject the kind of information which is coming from the media. So this is the reception theory, which talks greatly about how audiences receive media messages, whether they reject it, under which conditions do they accept it, and do they accept it completely or partially. Those are the things that will depend upon the cultural subcontext of the audiences. It will depend upon the values, norms, and attitudes, and the psychology of the audiences. So that is the reception theory. And the last theory in the audience section talks about the audience, which is the active audience theory. So here we are talking about user-generated content. We are looking at audiences who are not just consuming content, they are also interacting, and then going one step forward, they are also creating their own content and posting it back. So active audience, this is what the social media has been dealing with. This is what all media, which is finding an amalgamation of technology in it, is dealing with. So audiences have become more active in their respective areas. So some people could be active in research, some others could be active in posting news, somebody else could be active in posting DIYs or cookery shows or opinions on whatever is happening around the world. So all of us together, there are a greater number of us who have becoming the creators of news and the creator of content. This is called user-generated content. And these theories talk about this active audience, which is creating this UGC. So that's about the audience theories. We now come to the last section of the theories, which talk about the feminist media theories. Now, feminist media theories are a group of theories which look at the representations of gender vis-a-vis other concepts that are related to it. So gender in relation to education, gender in relation to occupation, gender in relation to familial responsibilities, so on and so forth. So this section of theories, these group of theories, is looking at the division of power and the kind of responsibilities that a certain gender is given as opposed to the others. Now, when we talk about this, we're looking at this from times immemorial, because the status of women has always been debated. We knew that in the ancient times, women enjoyed a much better status than in the regressive society that we saw in the past few centuries, as compared to now, when women are also taking a more modern stand. And despite the society becoming regressive, at least women are gaining a better foothold in their area, in their purview of work. So these theories are looking at this division of power and responsibilities within the society. And then there are certain versions of feminism. When we talk about various versions, one of this is liberal feminism, wherein we talk about feminism in context of women being deprived and oppressed. So, you would see stories like Phulan Devi, an oppressed section of the society, a woman, and then the kind of struggles she's had to face, the kind of social structures she's had to break, and then, this is the more deprived and oppressed class of people. And then we are looking at radical feminism, as in Phulan Devi picked a fight with the higher class of the society. So there is no equality until you're challenging the social structure of a society. So this is radical feminism, whereby you are not ready to settle in for less and you are not ready to negotiate. You are more radical in your views about how women and their status in society should be. The third version of feminism is Marxist feminism. Now, this looks at the means of production which greatly lied with men. And the women were deprived and there was no social equity. And this is what Karl Marx spoke about. It did not just speak in terms of the owners of industries and the workers of industries, the proletariat and the bourgeois. They also looked at women as the proletariat who were working under the men. So the means of production is being controlled by men, and hence all the decisions are being made by men. So this is what we call the Marxist feminism. So under this broad category, the various areas of study that emerge in this section of theories is representation of gender in media texts. Say, for example, how are advertisements portraying media? Or how are news presenters when they come on TV, women news presenters as compared to men news presenters. So we look at representation of gender. We also look at the advertisements. We also look at everywhere that women are projected and in which way they are projected. Then another area of study is production of media texts. So say, for example, a film. So does a woman only play the part of a beautiful heroine, or is she given a stronger role? That becomes a part of study here. So we are looking at production of media text and the kind of roles that women are playing in that particular media text. So how are women represented there? And the third bit is reading of this text. How are audiences taking these texts? In what taste are they taking it? Are they taking this section of the population seriously? Or what do they perceive about it? How do they think things are changing? These are some broad areas of study when we talk about feminist theories. And all these theories were basically meant to excite your thought. So learning excites thought. And I'm hoping that your thoughts are equally excited about, you are equally excited about the ideas of these theories. And continue to learn like that. Happy learning, all of you. Thank you very much for joining.